After 9 years in power, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation on Monday. However, he will remain in position as Prime Minister and Liberal Party head until the party chooses a new leader to take it into the next election. Trudeau said party infighting means he's not the right leader.
Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation on Monday, saying he would leave office as soon as his party chooses a new leader, with slumping polls and internal division taking their toll. After more than 9 years in power, Trudeau's support within the ruling Liberal Party began crumbling in 2024 due to intensifying public criticism focused on the rising cost of living. A subdued Trudeau told a press conference that he would stay as the Prime Minister until the party chooses a new chief.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process.
His authority was then shaken by the surprise departure last month of his Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland. Across the country, Trudeau's resignation did not surprise. Trudeau's Liberals are trailing badly in the polls to the opposition Conservatives.
This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Trudeau took office in November 2015 with a message of hope and sunny ways and won re-election twice. But his popularity started dipping 2 years ago as prices of groceries and housing rose in the post-COVID period and his fortunes never recovered. Canadian media have tipped Freeland as a possible Liberal leader. Trudeau has received permission from Canada's Governor-General to suspend all parliamentary business until March 24. That could give the Liberals time to choose a new leader while restricting the opposition's chances to bring a vote of no confidence. Bureau Report, TD India.
Let's now take a look at a timeline of key events tracking Justin Trudeau's tenure over nearly a decade in Canadian politics.
Here is a timeline of key events charting Trudeau's fortunes over nearly a decade in Canadian politics. Justin Trudeau won the leadership of the party in 2013. Trudeau's Liberals won a majority of seats in the federal election in 2015. In December 2017, Canada's Ethics Commissioner ruled Trudeau had broken conflict of interest rules by accepting a vacation, gifts and flights from the Aga Khan in 2016. In February 2019, former Justice Minister Jody Wilson-Raybould alleged that government officials improperly pressured her to assist SNC-Lavalin in evading a corruption trial. In August 2019, the Ethics Commissioner ruled Trudeau and his officials had breached some ethical rules. Trudeau took responsibility but refused to apologize. In 2019, shortly after election campaign began, photos emerged of Trudeau wearing blackface when he was younger. Trudeau apologized, saying his life of privilege had come with a blind spot. In August 2020, Finance Minister Bill Morneau resigned amid friction with Trudeau over how much funding was needed to help Canada recover from the pandemic. In September 2021, Trudeau triggered a national vote for September 20th, 2021, but was returned with a second successive minority. In June 2024, in a clear sign of the Liberals' growing unpopularity, the party lost one of its safest seats in a special election in Toronto. In September 2024, the New Democrats announced they would withdraw their automatic support. On December 16, 2024, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland resigned after Trudeau asked her to take a lesser position, taking away one of his most loyal allies. On December 20th, 2024, a formal motion of no confidence was presented. And finally, on January 5, 2025, Trudeau announced to step down once the Liberal Party chooses a replacement. Bureau Report, TD India.
And Vikas Swaroop, former High Commissioner of India to Canada, joins us now on the story. Welcome, Mr. Swaroop, to the program. What would you say were the key factors that led to Trudeau's downfall? Also, would you say that Trudeau's baseless allegations against India might have added to his political misfortunes?
Well, I think your report has very succinctly captured all the major factors responsible for his downfall. As it was pointed out 2 years ago, beginning 2 years ago, the cost of living in Canada rose dramatically. Grocery prices went up by 30 to 40%. Allied to that was a housing crisis because Trudeau took in so many immigrants and so many international students. The cost of housing just quadrupled and made it very, very difficult for ordinary Canadians to even think of owning a house because mortgage prices also went through the roof. So because of, I think, the inflation, because of the housing crisis, because of the immigration crisis, and I think also because of his inept handling of foreign affairs. As you rightly pointed out, his handling of the India portfolio was particularly egregious. The way he lambasted India, went public with certain allegations without any proof. I think that added to the image of Trudeau as someone who does not take foreign relations very seriously.
Okay, and not taking foreign relations seriously is one thing, and also probably to use them as political gimmicks. Was that, was that also exposed not only in public but also within his own party?
Absolutely, I think he used the India file, so to speak, very cynically to bolster a particular vote bank, and eventually that got exposed because you can only fool some of the people some of the time. You cannot fool all the people all the time.
And who is most likely to succeed Trudeau, in your opinion, and why?
You see, the problem is Trudeau has already quit the pitch for whoever his successor is going to be, because he will remain Prime Minister till the 24th of March, assuming a new leader is elected by then. That leader will face a no-confidence motion, which will most likely pass unless Jagmeet Singh and the New Democratic Party change their stance, which so far they are sticking to, that they want to bring down this government, which means that the new leader of the Liberal Party will have to go when confidence motion comes in, let's say, in April. Elections will be announced in May, which means he or she will have no time to prove himself or herself. Right now, I think the names that are most being bandied about are Chrystia Freeland, François-Philippe Champagne, Dominic LeBlanc, etc. But my sense is that, look, anybody who's associated with the Liberal Party will have very little chance of succeeding where Trudeau could not, because they will all be tainted by the same thing, that, what were you doing when you were in the government to allay Canadian concerns about the cost of living, etc. The only possible chance they may have is if they bring in an outsider like Mark Carney, who's a noted economist. He used to be the governor of the Bank of Canada and also of the Bank of England, and he might be interested. But honestly, this is a poison chalice at the moment, because whoever accepts becoming the next Liberal leader is likely to face a very massive defeat in the upcoming elections, because if the opinion polls are to be believed, the Conservatives are leading by a margin of 20 to 25 percentage points, which is almost impossible to overcome.
Okay, at another level, what do you think made Trudeau finally realize that his continuance as Prime Minister was untenable?
I think what made him realize was the fact that there was a complete revolt in his caucus, whether it was the Quebec caucus, whether it was the Ontario caucus, or whether it was the Atlantic caucus. And together they account for 131 members out of the 153 members of parliament that the Liberal Party has. So once you lose support of that members, there is no way that you can continue as partner. So what began as a very small-time revolt with 20 members of parliament submitting, letters that Trudeau should resign, eventually became this full-blown revolt against Trudeau, because I think most members of the Liberal Party recognize that with Trudeau at the helm, they had very little chance of retaining their seats.
And would you say that Liberal Party's defeat in the coming elections is a foregone conclusion?
Look, in politics, nothing is a foregone conclusion. As they say, 1 week is a long time in politics, many a slip between cup and lip. But if the opinion polls continue to hold, then the Conservatives are at 45%, the Liberals are at 16%. So the gap is just too wide. In fact, if the polls are held, let's say, immediately, the Liberals will probably come down to less than 10 seats, which is unprecedented. So my sense is that the Conservatives are very well organized at this point in time. In Pierre Poilievre, they have a leader who has rallied a majority of Canadians to his cause. And I think, by and large, Canadians are tired of Trudeau and they are tired of the Liberal Party, and there is a hunger for change.
And finally, sir, despite Trudeau's imminent exit, does anything change as regards Canada's now somewhat soured relations with the US as Donald Trump prepares to assume office there?
Well, I think Canada has a real task on its hands because Trudeau has never gotten along with Trump. Trump, as you know, has disparaged Trudeau. He has called him Governor Trudeau. He has referred to Canada as the 51st state of America. And the fact that Trudeau will be Prime Minister when Trump takes over, I think creates a huge problem. So whoever is the next Liberal leader has a task on his or her hands in dealing with Trump.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for sparing your time on DD India News. Vikas Swarup, former Indian High Commissioner to Canada, joining us.